Open GNOME terminal programmatically and execute commands after bashrc was executed. For starting my dev environment, I wrote a little script. One part is to open a GNOME terminal with several tabs where automatically some commands should be executed. Some of those commands depend on an already executed bashrc. But when using the command is executed before bashrc was executed, is there a possibility to make an automated GNOME terminal behave like a manually used one? Even commands like cd/foo/bar do not work with GNOME terminal .
Once GNOME terminal has started bash, it's out of the loop as far as command execution is concerned. It only manages the input and output. So you'll need bash's cooperation to run something after /bashrc has been loaded. First, in many cases, you don't actually need to execute commands after /bashrc. For example, opening a terminal in a particular directory can simply be done with cd/foo/bar and amp and amp GNOME terminal. You can set environment variables in a similar way, bar equals value GNOME terminal. If your /bashrc overrides environment variables, you're doing it wrong. Environment variable definitions belong in /profile. To execute commands in the terminal, but before /bashrc, you can do If you want to use multiple tabs, you have to use E instead of X. GNOME terminal unhelpfully splits the argument of E at spaces rather than executing it through a shell. Nonetheless, you can write a shell command if you make sure not to include spaces in it. At least with GNOME terminal 2.26, you can use tabs, though replace an LT, tab and GT by a literal tab character. If you do need to run commands after /bashrc, make it run the commands. For example, include the following code at the end of /bashrc. Then to run some code after really at the end of your bashrc. Or, less heavy on the quoting. Although I don't particularly recommend doing it this way, you may be interested in the techniques mentioned in how to start a terminal with certain text already input on the command line.
When you use the E option, the GNOME terminal will run that command without starting a new shell. You can even run something like GNOME terminal get it. So if you want to run a command into the bash shell into a new terminal /tab, you have to do something like this. But note that when command ends, the terminal /tab will end too.
Il y va en command, la séquence de scripting.